Have you ever noticed a crow staring at you for a little too long and wondered what's actually going on inside its head? Most people are afraid of crows. They've been called symbols of death, bad luck, creatures tied to darkness and black magic. But what if we got them completely wrong? What if behind those black feathers and harsh voices, there's actually one of the smartest and most emotional animals on Earth? And what if a crow could actually become your friend? This might sound fake, but it's real. All around the world, people have built actual relationships with wild crows, not just feeding them, real connections. Some crows start following certain people around. Some show up every single day just to hang out, and some even bring gifts, tiny little objects left behind like bottle caps, shiny rocks, buttons, or random trinkets. And it all starts with one thing: trust. Because crows do not trust humans easily. They watch everything, they remember faces, and they can tell almost instantly whether someone is dangerous or safe. To a crow, the world is full of threats. Humans chase them away, destroy their nests, throw things at them. So when a crow sees a person who doesn't try to hurt it, that alone is unusual. The first step to becoming friends with a crow is simple. Don't scare them. Don't run toward them. Don't stare aggressively, and definitely don't try to touch them. Crows hate unpredictable movement. If you want them to get comfortable around you, you have to stay calm and consistent, because crows are insanely good at reading behavior. They notice how you walk, how you move, even what time you show up every day. And yes, they actually remember all of it. Scientists discovered that crows can recognize human faces for years, not days, not weeks, years. They remember people who were kind to them and people who treated them badly. Which means your first impression matters. If you want to befriend a crow, start by visiting the same place regularly. A park, your backyard, anywhere crows usually gather. Show up at around the same time every day. At first, they'll probably stay far away, watching silently from a tree or rooftop. But trust me, they're paying attention. Then slowly start leaving food behind. Crows are omnivores, so they eat almost anything, but some of their favorite foods are unsalted peanuts, boiled eggs, small meat scraps, or quality dog food. Just avoid dangerous stuff like chocolate, super salty food, or spoiled leftovers. And don't throw food at them. Place it down gently, then back away a little. Let them decide whether they want to approach. Because to a crow, choice means safety. The first few days, nothing might happen. Then one day, a crow lands closer than usual. It grabs the food while staring directly at you. That's the moment things begin. Because once a crow starts trusting you, everything changes. They begin recognizing your footsteps. They know when you're coming. Some even make special sounds when they see their favorite human. And the weirdest part? Sometimes they start bringing you gifts. And yes, this actually happens. People have found tiny objects left near feeding spots, shiny pieces of metal, buttons, beads, random little treasures. Scientists think it may be a form of social exchange, almost like the crow is saying, "You gave me something, so here's something for you." The object might seem worthless to us, but to a crow, it may have been interesting enough to keep. And the fact they chose to give it away to you is honestly kind of incredible, because it means a wild animal is starting to see you as part of its world. But being friends with a crow isn't just about food. If you only show up with snacks, they may just see you as a food source. Real trust comes from consistency. Sit near them sometimes without doing anything. Let them get used to your presence. You might notice them tilting their heads while watching you carefully. And honestly, they probably are thinking. Because crow intelligence is absolutely insane. They can solve multi-step puzzles, use tools, work together in groups, and even plan ahead for the future. Some scientists believe crow intelligence rivals certain primates, and the more researchers study them, the stranger they become. Crows play for fun. They mourn dead members of their group, and they hold grudges. That's why you should never treat them badly. Because once a crow sees you as a threat, it might warn the others. There have been cases where groups of crows started yelling at specific people every time they appeared. And the creepy part? Sometimes younger crows join in, even though they were never there for the original incident. It's like information about dangerous humans spreads through the flock. So if you really want to become friends with a crow, the most important thing is respect. Respect their space, respect their fear, and never force interaction. Because friendship with a wild animal can't be rushed. It has to be earned slowly, and maybe that's what makes it feel so special. Because in a world full of noise and fake connections, there's something strangely powerful about a wild creature choosing to trust you. A bird that could fly anywhere, leave any time, avoid humans completely, but instead, it keeps coming back to you. Not because of a cage, not because it's trapped, but because it feels safe. And maybe that's one of the purest forms of friendship a human can ever experience. So the next time you see a crow watching you from a tree nearby, don't immediately think of bad luck or dark omens, because maybe it's just looking for someone it can trust. But here's where things get even stranger. The longer you spend around crows, the more you start realizing they all have different personalities. Some are bold, some are cautious, some are playful, and some are unbelievably curious. There are crows that will slowly hop closer just to inspect what you're doing. Others prefer watching from a distance for weeks before ever getting near you. And once they recognize you, they often start testing you. Not in an aggressive way. More like they're trying to figure out what kind of human you are. Some people noticed crows intentionally dropping sticks, leaves, or small objects nearby just to see their reaction. Others reported crows calling for them when they arrived late. As crazy as it sounds, these birds are constantly observing cause and effect. They learn from experience, and they remember outcomes. That's part of what makes them so intelligent. But it also means they get bored easily. Crows are one of the few animals known to create games for themselves. Researchers have seen crows sliding down snowy rooftops just for fun. Some have been spotted playing catch in mid-air. Others tease larger animals simply because they seem entertained by the reaction. Imagine having the intelligence to invent your own entertainment while flying across entire cities. And honestly, that may be one reason crows sometimes become attached to humans. Because humans are interesting to them. We create patterns, we carry objects, we behave in weird and predictable ways. To a crow, watching humans might feel like watching an endless reality show. And if you become part of their daily routine, they may start treating you differently from everyone else. Some people even describe the feeling as being chosen, like the crow made a decision about them. There are stories of crows waiting outside windows every morning, following certain people during walks, or showing up during difficult moments in someone's life as if they somehow sensed emotion. Now, no one can say for sure what a crow actually feels. But one thing is certain, they are far more emotionally aware than most people realize. Scientists discovered that crows can experience stress, curiosity, excitement, and even emotional learning. Young crows learn by watching older ones. They teach each other survival skills, and they adapt incredibly fast to new environments. That's why crows thrive almost everywhere on Earth. Cities, forests, small towns, busy highways. They survive because they understand change. And maybe that's why humans feel so fascinated by them. Because crows seem almost too smart, too aware. Sometimes when a crow stares at you, it genuinely feels like there's a mind behind those eyes trying to understand you. Not as prey, not as danger, but as another intelligent creature. And if you're patient enough, you can slowly build a connection with them. But patience is everything. You cannot rush trust with a crow. Sometimes it takes months before one lands nearby comfortably. Sometimes they disappear for weeks and suddenly return like nothing happened. And if you move too fast, yell, or break their trust, they remember. That's the scary part about crow intelligence. Their memory is unbelievably strong. A bad interaction can undo weeks of progress, but kindness also stays with them. There are people who fed crows years ago, only for the birds to still recognize them long afterward. And maybe the strangest part of all is that once you start paying attention to crows, you begin noticing they've probably been paying attention to you for much longer. Watching from rooftops, telephone wires, tree branches, quietly observing everything. So if you ever decide to befriend a crow, remember this. Don't try to own it. Don't try to control it. The reason crow friendship feels so special is because it's completely voluntary. A crow stays because it wants to. And in a world where almost everything can be bought, trapped, or forced, earning the trust of a completely wild animal feels rare. Almost magical. Not the dark kind of magic people feared for centuries, but something much simpler. A connection between two intelligent creatures learning to trust each other.